Why South Sudan? An Every Village podcast where we answer questions about the world's youngest nation. The question of the day is, where does my money go when I give to Every Village? Hey everyone, this is Tiana Johnston, the host of this podcast called Why South Sudan? So we have a very fun topic with a very fun person to talk about it with. Andrew Brown is back here in the studio.
Thanks, Tiana. Appreciate that intro. I've got big shoes to fill here. I'm not a stand-up comic.
All right. So today we are going to talk about funding and finances and what does it look like in a ministry. And some people might not know that we are a 501c3 ministry. That means that when people give to our ministry and to our work, they do get actually tax credit, which is a huge blessing to a lot of people.
Just to be clear, sorry, it's a tax deduction, not a credit. Sorry, there is a difference in IRS terms, but that's okay.
All right, good.
What's a few terms between friends? I don't want people to come to us for tax advice and then get angry when they are expecting a tax credit and it's actually a deduction. If you'd like me to explain the difference, we can do that offline, Tiana.
Sorry about that, guys. Glad you can keep me honest here. Thank you.
This is why I'm the fun one.
Exactly. So thank you for that. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain and just for you to share with our listeners kind of, who are our current supporters? What do supporters look like? What are ways that they give? Yeah, just would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, the vast majority of our giving comes through listeners just like you. It's through individual donors who have a heart for what God's doing in South Sudan and want to be a part of that. And, they hear the testimonies of impact and they say, let's join in on this. So definitely most of our giving comes through individual donors. We have some donors that give general funds to the ministry. They say, hey, use it wherever needed most. And we have some that say, I really want to be part of a special project and I want to give to solar-powered radios, or I want to give to drill a water well or whatever. And, all that is wonderful, and that's what keeps us going. So that's a big thing. We obviously have a lot of church partners as well, some really, really generous churches that, have just said, hey, we're behind you. We're going to add you to our annual missions budget because we believe in the work that, that God's doing through you. And so that's, incredible, not only when churches partner with us kind of at I'll call it an institutional level where it's part of their budget, but also typically the members of that church will also then say, hey, I want to be a part of that as well. So that's a huge show of support. Then we also have foundations. We've got some incredible foundation partners that come alongside of us with grants each year. Again, some of those are unrestricted, some are restricted, but we couldn't do what we do without them. And so those are our main areas of funding as an organization. And the way people give, we certainly, we get checks in the mail, and our address is at the bottom of our website, the bottom of all of our emails. And for large gifts, that's a really common way to give because you reduce the credit card processing fees if you send by check and all that. So that's a big way we get a lot of our of our giving for larger gifts. But we also have a monthly giving program, and that is the lifeblood of any ministry. People that choose to say, you know what, I want to be a part of this every month, and just draft it out of my credit card statement or whatever, or my bank account. And that is an amazing thing for a ministry because it's steady, stable cash flow that it keeps the lights running and keeps us able to pay our staff in South Sudan and do the ministry without really worrying about, hey, where's the next check going to come in? A lot of our monthly givers give through credit card, but again, you can do a bank transfer as well. And so a lot of our giving is set up through our website, everyvillage.org. The giving page is everyvillage.org/give. And on that page, we walk through different ways that people are able to give. And so you got your typical ways that you would think of: credit card and checks, mailing in a check. A few other ways we actually are set up to receive money through Venmo and services like that, PayPal. So people can give in those creative ways. But then another one that a lot of people don't think about is non-cash giving. And so we're set up to receive non-cash gifts such as stock, real estate, even business interests, cryptocurrency. We can receive all of that. And that's a really awesome thing. And, we get a lot of coaching, financial coaching from a really amazing company called Blue Trust that is a Christian financial services firm. And And they, really help a lot of ministries understand non-cash giving and other ways that they can, work with their donor base. And I don't quote me on these stats, but from what I remember from their presentations, it's something to the effect of, 80% of the wealth in the United States is non-cash. That is, again, real estate, business, stocks, and investments. And so 20% is cash, but something like 90% of giving is done in cash and only 10% in non-cash, which is pretty interesting to think about. I mean, there's a couple of factors there. Sometimes it might mean that, people just aren't even really aware of their non-cash assets and that they can give from that. So they're just giving out of their their monthly salaries or their annual salaries, which is tremendous. But there's other ways to give. And, we're earning interest on our stocks, hopefully, quite good interest, and it's growing, and sometimes people wait and say, well, let me wait till I sell that stock, and then with capital gains taxes that I might have to pay, then I'll give from that. But then there's other really wealthy and generous donors that will say, you know what, like, why wait? I mean, what am I stockpiling for? I want to give every year out of my gains. And so some people might liquidate those assets and then give from that to cash. But typically that's not the best tax way to do it. In fact, there's other methods for basically donating your non-cash assets directly to a third party, that you get immediate tax deduction for that and the entire size of that gift. And then it's passed on to the nonprofit ministry like Every Village without, facing any tax implications. And that's a really cool way to maximize the gift. And so anyway, there's really, really neat ways and smart people out there that know what they're talking about. Obviously, we are not experts at all, but we're certainly blessed by all those that partner with us in that way. So those are just kind of some of our partners, what they look like and how they give. But where does the money go when it comes into the ministry? And I think that's probably the most important part of this question. And of course, we've talked about our program areas of water, radio, and discipleship. And at its heartbeat, everything we do is to support that work. And so, of course, we've got U.S. expenses. So we've got an office, and we've got a development team that's raising funds, and we've got administration that keeps us legal and does the accounting and finance and all of those things. And so, again, that's where regular monthly income is so important for sustaining the operations of a ministry. We've got a tremendous board and a tremendous advisory board that are a part of that work as well. So those are huge. But then we, of course, have, I'll break it into two areas. We kind of got capital projects in South Sudan. That's new projects that, for ministry growth, expansion, that would be if we're building out a new location and we want to build a new radio tower and studio. That's raising the capital to fund that. Or if we're drilling a water well, or we're sending over more solar-powered radios so more people have access. All those things are large capital projects that we'll do each year, and we have to raise the funds for those. And then there's just kind of the ongoing ministry costs. We have 84 South Sudanese staff. And, we pay all of them, of course, and we don't just pay them a salary. We have benefits for them. We have health coverage for them. And, there's no insurance in South Sudan, and there's no hospitals in South Sudan, so we kind of have to self-insure, if you will, but we make sure that they have access to get the medical care that is accessible to them as best as possible. We have an education benefit. We realized, our staff, a lot of them want to go back to school. Maybe they haven't finished high school, or maybe they want to send their kids to school. That's so important for not only for them, but for the future of this nation. And so we want to support that. And so we have an education benefit. We have a variety of benefits that we have set up to try to really not just improve their lives today, but the life of their family in the future. And so there's all that. And so I think about, just one of the most direct ways to answer this question: where does your money go when you give to Every Village? Well, I just want to think about people on our staff that it goes to. You've got men like Peter Bede, who's our radio manager in Mavolo. And Peter is a wonderful father. He's got with a lot of girls at home, and not just, he and his wife raising their children, but, Peter has two sisters or sisters-in-law. His brothers were killed a few years ago, and he's caring for not only his sisters-in-law, but their kids and family. And I visited him in his home, and he's got a lot of people in that compound. You're supporting Peter Bede doing, with his family and his work. And when he comes to work every day, he's such a joy. And he just leads his team with class and with professionalism, with grace. Such a really great leader on our team. And so day in and day out, he's working with the radio staff on developing their radio programs and plans for the week. He's engaged with community leaders so that church leaders are part of the radio broadcast and being partnered with in the community. He's meeting with government leaders, local government leaders, and all these things. You think about it, it takes a lot of work every day to run a radio station. Peter's part of that, leading that team. We've talked about our desire for sustainability. So we're asking South Sudanese community members to contribute to the stations. Well, that takes a lot of work. That's business development, that's advertising, that's announcements, that's community engagement, community events, all these things. Your money that you give to Every Village is going towards those efforts. And then, of course, every time we do testimonies, we talk about the testimonies of lives changed. Your money is going towards people's lives being changed today and for eternity. People that their eyes are opening for the very first time and they're coming to know Christ because of them hearing the gospel on the radio, and God touching them at a soul level. We've heard testimonies of people that were going to commit suicide, and they heard the good news on the radio at that perfect moment, and they said, "You know what? Let me give this a try," and God rescued them out of darkness. And so, just so many beautiful things, and I finally think about just kind of a picture of giving money to Every Village it's kind of like planting a seed in the soil, right? It's going to bear fruit. And I think about that with kids in South Sudan. And I think about our new partnership with Awana Ministries and how every week we've got these Bible clubs all over our areas of ministry where, men and women are leading a group of kids, learning Bible stories, having a fun Bible-based curriculum, playing games, and I just think about the money that's enabled our Awana program to invest in these kids in the next generation. That's like a little seed, and it's popping up from the soil, and it's bearing beautiful fruit and budding beautiful flowers. And our God is on the move, and so that's kind of what I think about when I answer the question, where does your money go when you give to Every Village?
I love that. Honestly, somebody else that came to mind was Mark Patty, who is working for us in Uganda. He's actually the compound area manager, and he literally, him and his wife, and they have 3 or 4 biological.
They've got 3.
3, that's it. 3 biological children, but they literally have taken in like kids off the street and like putting them through school, and have lived in these tiny homes and had bunk beds all the way to the ceiling, just for the kids to have something, a place to live and food to eat and a family that's going to love them. And that's what we get to be part of.
Yeah, last year I think Mark and Joy, his wife Joy, they tried counting up all the kids that have lived with him over the years, and I think they got up to 60. Pretty amazing. No one would really know the work and ministry that they do. It's amazing. And when we lived in Kampala, we were so close, to Mark and just such a dear friend. And when we left Uganda, we had some bunk beds for our boys, and we gave them to Mark. And I remember he took them and he put them in his hallway, because he, up to that point, some of the kids that they were keeping at that time were sharing beds, small little beds, and he was so happy to get these bunk beds and putting them in a hallway because it gave them a bed, and it was just amazing. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. We do really, I'm just so grateful. And I also wanted to just, kind of give you a shout out, because I feel like you really have shepherded the organization. A little secret about Andrew, he's pretty frugal.
Some might say stingy. No. Thank you. Frugal is a kind term.
And you do, and we're wise, like with Amazon, we have Amazon points, so we literally barely spend any money because we're constantly using the Amazon points. And I just feel like it's so wise. And me and my husband, we are supporters because we truly believe in the ministry, and we believe in God, what God is doing through Every Village. And I know it can be really hard to give to this organization not knowing where the funds are going, and especially one that sends finances overseas to a place that, quote unquote, maybe there aren't a lot of Americans that can, rule it or manage it or make sure. But it's like, but we train, we trust, we walk alongside of them. They're not just we're not just throwing buckets of money and saying, here you go, lead the ministry. Like, we're doing it arm in arm.
That's an idea. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, yeah, and I mean, it's complicated to run a ministry as much as we're doing in that nation. It's complicated, but we've got the right people in the right places doing it, and I love that, and I also just think about answering the question, hey, where does my money go when I give to Every Village? Well, another thing that we really care a lot about is we want to do the best job we can to report the impact of giving. We take that seriously too, and so we try to do that as personally as possible. God's blessed us with a lot of donors, and we try our best to keep up with them. Every donor is different in their desire of engagement, but we a few of the things that we do that I love, and we're just committed to this because it's the right way to do it, not because of any other way, but reason, but just it's the right way to do it. But we several times a year. When I travel over there, I'll shoot videos from South Sudan, just showing an update of what's happening in the ministry, and we'll send that over, to our monthly donors or to others who've given to the ministry. And I shoot those personalized videos because we're really genuinely thankful for that. We recognize we wouldn't be able to do what we do without our partners, and so that's a big one. But another one that I love that you lead, Tiana, is on Fridays, and we've done this multiple times. We just started again this year. We did it last year as well, and we've done it before, where we're taking Fridays as a staff. We have our staff devotions every morning anyway, but we're taking Fridays and we pray over the names of partners, of donors to the ministry. We pray for them in specific ways if we know them. If we don't know them personally, we'll still pray for them, pray a verse over them, or pray something over them. And, we try to write notes just to let them know that we're praying for them. But even if we don't, we are lifting them up. We really care about that. We take that seriously. And that's allowed us to establish, long-term. Our view is their partners in partnership with us. So anyway, I love that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, I love it. Today was great. Also, I totally forgot to mention that today is episode 30.
Oh, that's cool.
I know.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
30 is
amazing.
The new. Wait, I was going to say 30 is the new 20, but that's not a compliment. 30 is a big deal. That's great.
I know. That's incredible.
We could play Tim McGraw's song.
Yeah, I thought about trying to do like a sound, but I don't have one. So
okay, well, Tim McGraw's song.
Yeah.
In my next 30 years.
Oh yeah, there you go.
My next 30 episodes. You want to sing it?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say for you to do it. But...
Okay.
Well, we have so much to celebrate, and I'm just so thankful. Oh man, I really love these podcasts. Great idea, sir.
They're fun to do, and you're doing a great job.
All right. Well, we welcome everyone back to the next episode as we answer the question, what is the food like in South Sudan? Take care.